Today, we are going to recap the movie Battle Royale from Japan. Spoilers ahead. Thank you for tuning in and have a great time. In the beginning of the millennium, Japanese society has collapsed. With rising unemployment, violence was rapidly rising among Japanese youth, which led the government to pass the Battle Royale Act. The act states that a class of high school students is pitted against each other in a game of death with only one survivor. The film opens with news reporters frantically announcing the winner of the Battle Royale match. She stares into the camera with a creepy, sinister smile. We are introduced to the protagonist of the film, Shuya. He is a middle school kid, traumatized by his mother's abandonment and his father's death. He hardly attends school due to his personal issues. His friend Noriko is a kind and polite girl. She's a great student, always attends class and usually the only one present. Their teacher Kitano has been distressed lately due to the student's bad behavior. As he is leaving the class, a student stabs him in the leg. After recovering from the injury, Kitano resigned from his position and grew to hate his students. 1 year after the incident, Shuya and Noriko are in high school. Their class is going on an educational trip. Everyone is having fun, enjoying their day. A few hours later, Shuya wakes up to see that all his classmates are unconscious. The bus driver and conductor are wearing gas masks. When they notice he is awake, the conductor knocks him out. Shuya wakes up and finds himself in a classroom with all his classmates slowly regaining consciousness. They notice they all have collars locked around their neck. A group of helicopters lands outside, and soldiers emerge with Kitano standing next to them. He tells a confused class that they have been recruited to take part in Battle Royale. Shogo and Kazuo, two outsider students, are also present in the room and will participate in the game. The two have already survived the Battle Royale game before. Kitano plays a video to explain how the game works, but a girl whispered to her friends in the middle of it. Feeling disrespected, he threw a knife directly at her forehead, ending her. The students panic and finally realize the severity of the situation. They paid attention after that. It turns out that they are on a remote island with no way to escape. The students will be given a bag full of supplies that they will use for protection or to attack others. The collars on their neck are tracking devices and microphones. If they try to escape or do anything against the rules, it will explode. A guy panics and tries to wrestle his way out. Kitano presses a button causing an explosion and terminating him. If more than one student is left by the end of 3 days, all their collars will explode, leaving no winner. Fear is what motivates them to play the game. The soldiers bring them a supply bag containing the same 4 survival products, but the weapons are different. They hand them each a bag before sending them outside. The outsider Shogo and Kazuo are given a random bag, but Shogo insists that he get a new one because his is too light. Chaos encompasses the island while Shuya and Noriko step outside. Before the two can decide how to proceed, a guy with a crossbow attacks them. They ran away, leaving the guy to fight another classmate. They end up in a cave, where Shuya checks Noriko's injured arm. Unfortunately for them, their bag contains a pot cover and binoculars as weapons. A group of students surround Kazuo. They pick him first since he is an outsider. However, one of them makes the mistake of coming too close with a gun. He grabs the gun and defeats the entire group without much effort. The pressure of fighting for survival is too much for some students. Many of them choose to self-end it. We are introduced to a girl named Mitsuko. She's become a cold-blooded assassin, unlike the others, with no remorse and seems to enjoy it when she ends a classmate's life. The next morning, Shuya and Noriko bump into a friend with an axe who launches at them. Shuya makes Noriko run away before fighting the guy himself. The pot cover comes in handy to dodge the attacks, but they soon fall down the hill. In the process, the guy hits himself on the head with the axe and passes away. Shuya looks at him with guilt even though all he did was defend himself. He and Noriko run away again but are stopped by a frightened guy with a gun. He nervously asks them to stay where they are, too afraid to shoot. Shogo takes the opportunity to shoot the guy and takes his gun. He notices that Shuya and Noriko are not trying to harm anyone and agrees to protect them. They then see 2 girls calling people for help. They want everyone to join them and work together. Shuya tries to help, but Shogo stops him, knowing that someone else might have heard them, knowing it's not safe. He is proven correct when Kazuo appears and sprays the girls with bullets. He put a megaphone near their mouths so everyone would hear the scream. In the following scene, Mitsuko enters a small warehouse and discovers a girl inside. She points her gun at Mitsuko, knowing what she is capable of. Mitsuko gets on her knees, begging for her life, but she takes her gun and shoots her. In the meantime, a group of guys is fixing a generator to power the laptops. They plan to disable the collar and escape the island. At night, Noriko, Shogo, and Shuya spend the night at a small warehouse. Shogo discloses that he is the winner of the last Battle Royale game, and he and his best friend Keiko were the last 2 survivors, but one of them had to die for the other to survive. As time was running out, the collar was set to explode. Keiko shot him, and in retaliation he shot her and ended her. To shake things up, they kept Shogo back at school in order to drag him back to the game. Suddenly, gunshots are heard from outside. Kazuo is after a guy who is wearing a bulletproof vest. Since he cannot take the guy down with bullets, he resorts to a sword. After decapitating the poor guy, he hears noises from inside the house and throws a grenade in there. Fortunately, the group escaped just seconds before the explosion. Shuya runs outside to distract him but is cornered. Kazuo runs out of bullets and starts reloading, which gives him the chance to jump into the water, narrowly dodging the bullets. The next morning, Shuya wakes up in a lighthouse while being taken care of by a girl named Itsumi. She and her group of friends ask him to stay with them until they reunite with the rest of the group. If they stay together, they may have a higher chance of escaping. Among the group is a girl who blames Shuya for the death of her friend, the guy that attacked Shuya with an axe yesterday but lost his life in the process. For revenge, she mixes poison with the food that was meant for Shuya. Her plan fails when a girl accidentally consumes the food instead and suffers a horrible death. The girls panic and start blaming each other for poisoning the food. A girl gets her hands on a gun and shoots them all. The chaos ends with the death of everyone, except for the girl who poisoned the food. Hearing the commotion, Shuya knocks on the door. He is received by the girl, who starts apologizing and runs to the top of the tower. Shuya goes inside and shockingly discovers the girl's bullet-ridden body. He runs after the surviving girl, only to see that she has jumped over, out of guilt. Somewhere else, Noriko is dreaming about Kitano. In the dream, they were eating ice cream near a riverbed. In real life, Kitano gets a call from his daughter who doesn't love him. She let him know that her mom is sick. He lied and says he's on a business trip and can't make it back. She got mad and insults him before hanging up. Noriko woke up from the dream and mentions to Shogo that Kitano seems lonely and maybe that's why he's in the Battle Royale program. Noriko wanders around the forest and bumps into Mitsuko, who makes fun of her for hiding behind men. She is about to attack, but runs away after seeing Kitano approach. At the same time, Shuya meets them but falls unconscious. Kitano gives Noriko his umbrella and leaves without saying anything. He is kind to her because she was the only person who was nice to him. Mitsuko runs into a warehouse and sees a girl crying over her friend's death. She terminates the girl but is attacked by Kazuo seconds later. Just when he thinks she is dead, she tases him and counterattacks with a sickle. Kazuo, who is wearing a bulletproof vest, makes the sickle attack useless. In turn, he pushes her away and finally ends her. In the following scene, Shogo, Shuya, and Noriko are on their way to the warehouse where the hackers are staying. The hacker manages to infiltrate the military network, but Kitano manually resets the system. The group of guys then load a vehicle outside with explosives and plans to blow up the military base. But before they can move, Kazuo arrives and ambushes them. In a desperate attempt to kill Kazuo, a guy lights up the explosives and dies in the ensuing explosion. The trio runs out and sees the dead bodies of the only friends they had left. Kazuo is still alive but has lost vision in both of his eyes because of the explosion. He fires randomly but manages to get Shogo in the shoulder. Shogo attacks Kazuo repeatedly and eventually kills him. Following that, the trio goes to the shore, where Shogo reveals that he was only pretending to be their friend, since they are the only ones left. Killing them would be beneficial. With that being said, he shoots them and wins the game. Kitano hears the gunshot and declares him the winner, bringing him to the base, but realizes it was Shogo who hacked the base months before. It was then revealed that Shogo faked the whole scene and disabled Shuya and Noriko's tracking devices while the two arrive at the scene. Kitano unveils a painting of the massacred class, depicting Noriko as the victor. He explains that he was unable to bear the hostility from his students, having been rejected by his own daughter, and Noriko is the only one that was kind to him. He views her as a daughter. He asks her to kill him, but Shuya shoots him after he threatens them with a gun, later revealed to be a water gun. Kitano was hanging on to his life but answered his cell phone when it rang. After a final phone conversation with his daughter, Kitano succumbs to his wounds. Following that, the survivors take a boat to mainland Japan, but since Shogo has lost a lot of blood, he passes away. In the last scene, Shuya and Noriko are declared fugitives by the Japanese government. They are running toward a train station, determined to live out the rest of their lives as fugitives. That's the end of this recap. Thanks for watching and staying till the end. Please subscribe, share, and like. See you at the next one.